through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the
You guys are
sound
gonna go through
of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound.
a whole setup with me.
Stock podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell, my heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.
Okay, you're going to have to deal with me setting this up so that I don't know what's going on, but YouTube won't allow you to rewind today. I'll try it again, but they're just not, it's not picking up the actual feed. So let me see. This seems to be okay. So it looks like it's okay. I think yesterday was a little bit off. Larry, we're going to turn on Do Not Disturb. I am rather annoyed this morning. But thank you to everybody who joined Substack Live last night and watched the Tesla event. An hour late. Good content. He definitely seemed great, but as you can see from the reaction, it wasn't good. It was good for Uber. Kind of my note before the event was after Robotaxi, I think Uber and Lyft will be a buy. Uber is my buy. Uber is my my choice. And I do own Uber. I sold out of Uber and I got right back in, but I think it's a, you know, I think Uber will come back under 80. I am not doing an 80-hour podcast. Hold on. There we go. My chair is not good. Okay, we're gonna hit the boo. Why does it not? Okay, we've got it positioned there. So Ryan, that is every Tesla event. If this was your first one that you've ever watched, every Tesla event, it has that crypto. And people fall for it. So, morning, Lewis. Morning, Victor. Victor, also, Edward, the options oracle lost his roof. So, but, I mean, if you lose your roof, that's nothing. Well, you know what, Victor? Get a Tesla. Everybody that yells that, you know, Tesla's, I wouldn't drive an EV, I wouldn't drive, when you can't find gas, what do? You get a Tesla. Now, let me see. Hold on. It's been a while, so let me see if YouTube, and then on this one, I got to turn down the volume. Let me see. So it's typically what I'll do beforehand is I will hit go live, and then up here on manage, there's usually, there we go, okay. And now I can hit the enable DVR. There we go. That's typically what I have to do, by the way. So I have your chats up there. But I have to do that. I loved that. I created this with AI, by the way. So the Robotaxi, I'm going to get a picture of it. I'll probably put it up there today. But yeah, what do I have today? I've got S&P keeps winning, so we'll go back. It started 2 years. 2 years ago, the bull rally started in October of 2022. On yesterday or the day before, we'll take a look at it. But the Tesla event we'll go over. We will go over NVIDIA, Broadcom, 10 chip stocks that the quant rating actually rates above NVIDIA. Bitcoin dipped under 60,000 yesterday, so hopefully you got that. JFrog, which is in the watch list, jumps on reports of a takeover. Microsoft, they just keep they got AI into the healthcare world with their cloud. Netflix could raise their price. Price adjustments could come out, and I think that would be good. Eli Lilly is going to sue anybody that uses Manjaro compound stuff like HIMS. I bought a few things on Amazon Prime Day, but it was huge. We got BlackRock, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo in earnings, and implied movers for earnings as well. And I didn't get anybody asking me about stocks. So, oh, you got the Forerunner. Yeah, I think it was clearly a sell the news, and I should have played it better. I was busy as F yesterday, though. And that's my apologies for posting the podcast late. You guys don't even listen to the podcast. You guys kind of tune in live here. But yeah, I posted the ever since I effed with the settings for Substack and here in OBS, I haven't been able to get it back to where it was, and just ugh. Man, I hate messing with OBS. I just hate it. Bitcoin and crypto, nothing. Covered call ETFs, DIVO. And QQQY. And energy names, Sunoco. This chart, I mean, that's interesting. I mean, if energy gets a lift, that could be a good one. Leveraged ETFs. SMST, SVXY, UDOW. I mean, every time that damn VIX goes up over 20 just by SVXY, it'll come back down. Spider sectors, XLP. Which is consumer staples. So it's like Costco and low cost Vanguard, VTV, low cost ETFs, VTV. Is that the total stock market? I don't think so. That is value. Value. Okay. Watch list. There's going to be a bunch. GLBE, Frog, Path, and Sun. This is the one that I think this one gapped down. Yeah, this was the short interest where it gapped down. Guess what? You're almost back to covering that. I mean, that's GLB. This is the global E line. There was a gap for some reason. I remember this one because there was a gap. Something happened with this. But I may be thinking of something else. But Merck, Amazon, Travelers, Cisco. That's a lot of, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 30 Dow stocks. That's a good day. Hopefully things worked out for you. Qualcomm, CSX, Amazon, ASML, AstraZeneca, BIIB, ODFL, Mondelez, and Cisco we have in there already. Okay, let's look at the S&P. Where's the S&P 100? There it is. And Cisco, Amazon, UPS. We don't have in there yet. UPS, Union Pacific, Medtronic, and Microsoft. There we go. Okay, we got our scans done. Let's go back to the strategy tester. And the 4-hour run. run. Q's there. Okay. We'll open up our PPI year over year rose. I saw this. So it's still going down. It was 1.9, 1.8. I mean, it's an interesting data point, but Palantir has gone nuts. I mean, I don't remember. There's 5 things in the quant. Momentum, in my argument, might be the number one, but I don't know how they set up the quant in Seeking Alpha. GitLib pops as Morgan Stanley starts. What does this have to? Oh. Palantir. Okay. I just don't know how a PEG ratio. I mean, they are going to have to do so well on their earnings and blow it away so much. I don't think it's past them, but I mean, I saw a guy who said it's going to 90 yesterday. This is why, holding on to both fundamentals and technicals, because technically speaking, I wouldn't get rid of it. I might have gotten rid of it here at around 36, just fear of valuation. But that looks like it was just setting up for a leg higher. I mean, look at the Bollinger Bands right there. The Bollinger Bands cinched up, and then you went for another run on the upside. So the MACD is not overextended compared to the period back here in February, where after earnings it jumped from 17 up to 25. So, yeah, kudos, Chris. I mean, those are, 10 baggers, two baggers, 20 baggers. They come along every now and then, and you hold on to them, and you continue to just add to them because the momentum continues to rise. And momentum is a strong force in the market. And I don't think, let me see. What's the short interest in Palantir? I don't think it's like one of the short interest 3%. It's not huge. It's not huge at all. This is one that my buddy's dad got into. Oh, that's horrible. Yeah. 99% down. This one he thought was going to be the next thing, and he's down a lot. I mean, we're talking a lot. Yeah. The full disclosure, I don't understand Palantir as good as well as some of the other folks. But I do understand valuation, and that's a tough one to go with. I'm going to do earnings real quick. I don't really care about BlackRock. I mean, they had good earnings, but JP Morgan's up in pre-market. And Bank of America, I think most of the banks. I mean, XLF. Okay, so we're going to do that. We're going to go over here. Okay, so these are the implied moves. Relief rally for semiconductors, and that's the implied moves based on the options for earnings. Wells Fargo, and obviously those change every day, so you can look at those. Wells Fargo beat, JP Morgan beat. Did you buy anything on Amazon because they said it was the biggest October shopping event to date, which kind of is marketing term for, hey, we've never had a marketing event in October before. Lilly is going to sue everybody to protect their patent. Netflix, if you get a rate hike on this earnings, you're going to see that one just soar. Microsoft expanding into healthcare with the cloud business. So what you're going to see is a customized, quote-unquote, Microsoft Office for every freaking sector or company out there. I think that's huge. JFrog is in our watch list, and it had a cross-up, and it's up 4% in pre-market. It was up 5% yesterday. Bitcoin dipped under 60,000 yesterday. The top 10 semiconductor stocks per the quant. I thought that was interesting. Broadcom was named a top pick by Bank of America. NVIDIA's Blackwell just continuing to kill it. Goldman Sachs moved their price target to 150. So we'll take a look at that. Gene Munster's take. I thought this was the best take on the event. Oh, hold on. You guys get the benefit of. Yeah.
Hey, your mother wants to use a computer in a car. Personal hotspot has to be turned on, right?
Yeah, and then you just connect to the. So when you go to Wi-Fi, instead of connecting to a Wi-Fi,
yeah,
you just connect to that hotspot.
Okay, others to join. Should that be on?
No. Allow others to join. I don't know. You can play around with it.
Huh?
I don't know. I think you can play around with it.
Okay.
You're. By the way, you're on live right now with a bunch of people, and they're laughing.
Okay, they're laughing. Why?
Well, it's because I provide tech support to the Del Boca Vista up there.
All right. Okay. Bye.
Yeah, if you have questions, just call me. But it should work. The hotspot is what you're going to use for that.
All right.
Okay, bye. I don't know where they're going. I don't know what the hell they're doing. And by the way, I'm on Do Not Disturb. So that means they've called 3 times. I don't know what they're doing. But this was the best take on the Tesla. And Tesla's, there's the news story, okay? And I'll give my take on it too. The S&P 44th record high day in 2024 with 56 trading days remaining. So that's big. That's big. That's just hard to fathom, but it is what it is. QQQ we'll start off with. Okay. I hope this doesn't mess up again. I mean, it just, what happens is the remuxing of a file seems to take iMovie forever to look at the audio, to analyze the audio. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I got to play with it a little bit. Okay. Good morning. It is Friday, October 11th. Happy Friday. Sorry for yesterday's late podcast post. It's not performing as well as other podcasts, and I think that has a lot to do with it. I messed up OBS. It is worth a listen. Yesterday's podcast, just know the Tesla event prior to it, I go over Tesla exactly. It's almost exactly what I thought. I thought it was going to be sell the news. I was super impressed. We'll go over the Tesla event. Thank you to everybody who joined Substack Live. I did go on. Even though Elon was like an hour late, I think there were around 2 or 3 million people watching when we were watching on Substack Live. I gave my thoughts. I'll give some thoughts today. I think I'll post that video as a separate video on Substack. I'm hoping that I can do it without emailing everybody out a separate time. My apologies if you get a bunch of emails. I'm just starting to use that per Substack. There were a couple of technicians from Substack on that live feed last night to see how it went. So, but it was a great. I really liked it. We'll go over that. The S&P continues to hit highs. We'll go over Nvidia because their price target just moved to 150. Broadcom just got named a top pick. JFrog is on the watch list, and Trendspider. Bitcoin under 60,000 yesterday. Hope you had it on your watch list because it's up today. Netflix and Microsoft and Eli Lilly and Amazon and earnings from JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, and implied moves for earnings on some of the biggest movers as we enter earnings season. So let's get into things first. Okay, here's the cues first off. I identified last year where we had 3 downturns, and I think it was the year before we had 3 downturns. So I was hoping in October that we would have 3 downturns, specifically on the cues. And this is just looking at the cues. I don't know that we're going to have 3 downturns, but the cues are underperforming SPY right now. Just to understand, SPY and VOO, the S&P, it's at all-time highs. The Dow at all-time highs. The NASDAQ is not at all-time highs. You're at 492, but the all-time highs came in mid-July, and it was 503. So 503 is where we need to get to in order to provide some support for the NASDAQ. Doesn't mean that the S&P doesn't have that support at 565 like we're going to look at. But again, it needs to have support. Until then, this is going to be a resistance level. And my hope is that we see a third leg back, not because I'm hoping for the market to go down, not because I'm hoping for a catalyst down, but more I'm hoping for an entry point so that I can get back in. Remember, I'm 90% invested. So there is no necessarily reason that I need a pullback to put that money in, but I want some type of direction in the market. And that's my thing. If your outlook is longer term and say you're only 40% in the market, just buy today. Because we know that Bob has bought at the all-time highs, and Bob became a millionaire by the time he was ready to retire. But again, the reason why I'm thinking 3 is because for the last couple of years, we've had 3. Now, this is why I say the S&P has tagged yesterday 44th record high in 2024. There are only 56 trading days left to go. A pullback with 56 trading days left to go, and the assumption that we will end higher with all-time highs, the assumption is that you will make money. That's the assumption. And I continue to think that seasonally, November and December, we will see going forward higher. Now, I've said this for a long time. If we go and we look at SPY, okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this to a weekly because I want to take you back to 2022, okay? We had 2022 was that pullback year. But the low of 2022 on SPY, ironically, it hit the 200-day, okay? SPY hit the 200-day. You can see that red one. Anytime you've hit the 200-day in the last 4 or 5 years, it was a buying opportunity. That was the beginning of the bull market. Yes, you had this pullback in July of 2023 to the October lows. You haven't seen that in this weekly chart. Okay, this weekly chart where it goes over the 2021 highs right there, January 2022, where you had the highs on a weekly, okay, where it pulled back anytime down here. You were looking at this as being a resistance level. Yes, it was a resistance level for January 2024 and February 2024, but you broke through that. Then you had this high at about 530, it didn't provide much resistance whatsoever on the pullback of April 2024. Then this year, you had your July pullback to that 1 week in April where it pushed back up at 508. Since then, you've been going up. Okay, 565 again was the previous all-time high back in the middle of July, and that is going to serve as your support level on SPY. But SPY, again, this is when the bull market started. We're in a bull market until we're not. And so you can see the low of COVID back here in March, how that was a bull run. And then you weren't in a bull run for a little bit, 8-9 months. It started the bull run. It's not straight up. I wouldn't expect it to be straight up. But when you look at this weekly chart, the RSI is at 66. That's a little high. The MACD is up here at 17. That's a little high. During these times when it runs, you typically will see a pullback. Again, this is just looking at the technicals. It doesn't mean that we go into earnings and companies just start blowing away earnings and then we just move higher. It's just looking at the technicals. There's money on the sidelines that can still come in. So understand that even though we've hit our 44th record high in 2024, we have 56 trading days to go, it doesn't mean we will see a pullback for sure. It just means that, yes, we're in a bull market. Okay, so Tesla last night. We're going to go over Tesla. The Tesla event, my notes are, it was awesome. I was blown away by what they showed. I think Elon was prime Elon. I think also he gave very good timelines compared to what he's done before. They had 20 of those freaking cars rolling around on the Warner Brothers lot. 20. If you remember the Cybertruck event, they had like 2 Cybertrucks built at that time. They weren't even close to producing them. 20 freaking cars. It also shows, and he mentioned, well, I will say, let me start by this. Right before the event, Trump was speaking at an EV conference or something about EVs. I forget where it was. But he mentioned autonomous vehicles were concerning. So while Elon is promoting Trump, if you remember the X interview with Trump and Elon, it wasn't like they were arguing or debating, but one person would say something, like Elon would say something about EVs, and then Trump would go, yeah, people should have a choice with EVs or gas. So there wasn't an argument per se, but neither one was listening to each other and what they were saying. This is the same thing. So I think Elon is pushing Trump and hoping that things will come about, but I think Trump is being Trump, where he's going to do his own thing. I don't think that you're going to see a car driving itself outside of local municipalities like you see in California and in Phoenix. I don't think you'll see anything like that on an interstate highway. And remember, they need federal regulators to okay it for the highway system. And I don't think you're going to see that as long as Trump's in office. And I think you'll see some pushback even under a Harris administration. So with that cloud above us, let's just say that the technology will beat out and be ready far before regulators are ready to approve this. Clearly, last night, I mean, the robotaxi. It will use the current hardware. They will just upgrade the robotaxi to what's called hardware 5. My car that I bought in March of this year has hardware 4. It will be fully capable. The robotaxi won't have to plug in. It's going to roll over a charger and charge just there. So the whole charging situation, they've figured that out, obviously. But I don't know that they've put it into practice, because having a big kind of electrical shield, I would assume there's some type of liability there where it's kind of like a wireless charger, I would assume. But the conductivity of electricity, I mean, you're talking a high amount of electricity to roll over. This isn't like your wireless charger for your phone. This is going to be wireless for a freaking car. That's a lot. So I don't know that they've fully figured that out, but he mentioned it. I thought it was interesting because while I could sleep on this thing, when I drive from Atlanta to New Jersey, I would love nothing more than to fall asleep in the car. I mean, I don't mind being behind the wheel, but if I could fall asleep knowing that it's driving itself and it's regulated that, I'm perfectly fine with that. Now, the second thing they said was the Robust. I love that name, Robust. I think that's what he called it. It was awesome. But I tend to think that thing was remote controlled because they didn't have it driving around. So while I think it's great that they built it, and I do think that the software is the key, I thought that was awesome. And the Optimus robot, if you saw videos of that afterwards, I think that's going to be the killer revenue boost that the company needs to push the stock price up. Okay, this shows that the company has the ability to launch hardware that leads to their industry-leading software. So that means that the valuation of this, most likely if they get it put in place, will be just, it's pretty cheap right now, to be honest. I think Kathy Woods is right. And don't bet against Elon. Again, I'm not saying go out and buy Tesla. I think you will be able to buy this under $200 when the earnings come out next week or the week after. Okay, the stock is down in pre-market 6%, 7%. It's been down as much as 8%. It's at 220. And that's a key level. I mean, 220 is a key level. Your 200 days at 217 on the 4-hour. Now, if we look at the weekly, you can even see that 260 price point that I told you. It's a resistance on the weekly. And that 220 price point, that is right at it's below the 200 day. So you're trading below the 200 day. Your 50 day is at 209. So the Bollinger Bands are going to cinch up on the weekly. The MACD is going to reset. The RSI is going to come back down to reasonable levels. I think you'll have a chance to buy this between 170 and 200. And then I think you buy it back and you move. Now, what my notes in here before the event, I said, and I think I said it yesterday, I said after the robo-taxi, I thought you could buy Uber. I didn't buy more Uber. I own a bunch of Uber, not as much as I had. I did sell some of my Uber when it got to 70. It's at 80. I think 80 is now your price point that you want to use as, oh my God, let's buy it under 80 and let's sell it over 80. If you're looking to do that, you could also buy Lyft. I mean, it's clear the robo-taxi was what took Uber down from 80 to the 60s. And now that we know it's not coming anytime soon, I think Uber is in the driver's seat. Not to pardon the pun, but Uber's in the driver's seat. You know, Lyft is up 4.5%. Uber's up almost 5%. Uber's in the driver's seat here. And I don't think that anything that Tesla showed last night is going to beat out any type of Uber stuff. Uber's going to be what Uber's going to do is they're going to license the freaking software from Tesla, and so they'll take a car and they'll just say, okay, we've got a bunch of Teslas, and we can lease them out to drivers who can monitor them, or we'll just manage a fleet, and we'll have the current Teslas go out there and drive themselves. Uber will figure it out. And so I think, the Tesla stuff is really good. This article shows it off perfectly if you didn't hit it. The best take on it was Gene Munster. One timing of Cybercab is still 2 years plus away. I think that was part of the key. Elon says he's very optimistic. The disappointment makes sense. Tesla investors have been waiting for a few things recently, including improved margins, higher delivery growth, and FSD. I feel the Cybercab falls squarely into the worth the wait camp. And even if it's 3 years before it sees the light of day, investors will be rewarded. Absolutely. Number two, there was no word about more affordable model that Elon suggested would be available sometime between late this year and mid-2025. That's going to weigh on the thing, because the cheaper car may still be in the works, but he didn't mention it. My guess is timing will be late 2025 for initial production. The reason why they held off was there is little reward for them to highlight a cheaper model given its risk buyers hitting the pause button on the 3 and the Y today. I tend to agree with that. I think Gene has it squarely in the bullseye there. They didn't announce the lower price car because they're having demand problems for the 3 and Y today. They just are. They're going to announce a refreshed Model Y probably later this year, early next year, which will go along with the new Model 3, which is a significant upgrade. Because if you're a Model 3 or Model Y person, you know that road noise is still, even in the new Model Y, the current year Model Y, it's still higher than it should be, because that Model 3, the new Highland Model 3, is absolutely silent. And it's so good. The actual engineering of that new Model 3. I'd have bought a Model 3 in a heartbeat. But at the time when I bought the Model Y and they were allowing you to transfer the FSD, I was not able to get the $7,500 federal rebate on that one. So it's interesting. I think it's fantastic. I think Uber and Lyft, our Uber is your actual, go-to on this one. But I think this proves to me that Tesla probably is a decent buy for a long-term outlook. But for me, I'll trade it. And I said it yesterday. I'll trade that Tesla on my 4-hour algorithm all day. Now, on the 4-hour algorithm, you make 149% versus losing 1% year over year. And I think as you go down, I think this one is in a clear range. And until we get over that 260 and use it as support, I think anywhere below 260, I think it'll pop back up there. So there you have it on Tesla, okay? NVIDIA's Blackwell ramp appears quite strong, Morgan Stanley says. Not only that, Goldman Sachs moved their price target to 150. Okay, NVIDIA in pre-market should be up. It is down 0.36%. I would say you want to buy this under 130, and I think you'll be okay. Their earnings are coming up. I think anywhere between that 122, their earnings are coming up. Let's see, it is November 19th, so you've got quite a while. Be patient on this one. If you don't hold it, I think that 122 is going to be your support. So as you move down there, I think you can start buying this one. I just think it's a long way to go. The other one I think you can buy is AVGO. This is Broadcom. I own a bunch of this in the 130s. It's at 180 right now. It's just passing that old all-time high at 184. This is one that I may look to trim. I didn't go big and heavy into this one, though, and I regret it. I should have. I bought it way back here in the 130s, right about here, and I endured just, some pump. I think I bought more in the 140s around here, and then it died down. And essentially, I've just been enjoying this ride. The current ride that we're on, the RSI's at 70. If you go and you look at the weekly, the MACD's still too high. Still too high. Am I looking to buy this one? No. But again, I think this was named a top pick at Bank of America. So if you want to know NVIDIA, here's the top 10 chips, semiconductor stocks from Seeking Alpha Quant. Okay, and it's not NVIDIA. Number 10 is Micron. Number 9 is Marvell. You can read the rest of them. I'll post this in the newsletter. Again, if you're interested in the newsletter, it's over here on Linktree. It is down here, the 5th one. Okay, the Daily Stock Picks newsletter. I will post, again, the Tesla event where I went live. It's just a talking head, so don't think that you have to watch it, and it's amazing. But I did it as a, to test out the for Substack for their stuff. I thought that was interesting. Now on to other stuff. That's a watch list. Bitcoin dipped under 60,000 for a little bit yesterday. IBIT was down. IBIT, from the algorithm standpoint, you're out. But I would argue that this only goes back 9 months because it was just an IPO around the Bitcoin ETF fund. I have IBIT. I also have MicroStrategy, okay? The algorithm right now makes you only 3%, where buy and hold on IBIT makes you 22.5%. I am looking for long-term on this one. I'm looking for opportunities to add. And so when Bitcoin goes under 60,000, I have a nice little alert that says, hey, add more IBIT. I missed it yesterday. Didn't get it. It was down there for a little bit. I'll have a chance to get it again probably at some point in time. MicroStrategy's up 2%. It was down yesterday. I am up 50% in this in 28 days. MicroStrategy, the 4-hour algorithm, makes you 1,094%. What do you make if you bought and held it 2 years ago? 670%. And you might be saying, well, I don't want to trade 100 positions an hour. You're trading 23 positions over 24 months. Okay? Your average win is 45%. Right now, you're up 50%. Well, let's move this a little. Right now, from where the algorithm said to buy, you're up 45%. Okay? You were up 50%. This is a button hook. We're looking at a little bit of weakness, but it was a secondary buy right here at 189. You're trading at 183. I do think that you get that extra bounce. I just think that when they announce earnings, they're going to announce that they bought more freaking Bitcoin. So there's an opportunity. JFrog, which is on the Trendspider watch list. Again, this is Trendspider. And I have a watch list that you can scan against in Trendspider. Here on the Daily Stock Pick link tree, linktr.ee/Daily Stock Pick. Trendspider is the top link. Okay, when you sign up for Trendspider, you get to this page. When you sign up for it, it's $53 a month. You get the algorithm, you get the watch list, you get all the scanners that I have. Everything that I use on this podcast, you get for $53 a month. Get it today. Play with it over the weekend. Get your system set up for yourself. So that Monday you can start trading for $53 a month. You're crazy if you don't do this. Again, MicroStrategy just in the 4-hour algorithm, 1,094%. That would absolutely pay for it. Now, I don't want you going out there and spending $700 if you have $2,000 in your account. That makes no sense whatsoever. Make sure that your portfolio is large enough so that you can trade around this and that you can manage your portfolio. If you're still stuck under the PTSD rule, pattern day trading, PDST, pattern day trading, make sure that you're not getting tools that cost a ton of money. That's under $25,000. You don't want to pay for tools. Get free tools. But again, if you have it in your budget, Trendspider is a great, great tool, $642. And if you're brand new to technical trading, I would urge you, this top one, if it's within your budget, the advanced, you get unlimited one-on-one training. That is the benefit there. The middle one, it's a great opportunity. It gives you more alerts, more active windows, more simultaneous trading bots. You don't have that in the standard. So again, I think the enhanced is a good one, but pick your level, and then what you do is you go back here and you email me. The email's up in the upper right. But JFrog is in there. JFrog's in the watch list. It was up 5% yesterday. It's up 5% in pre-market after reports of a takeover interest. Found it interesting? You could probably trade it. It's FROG. Let's see how this one goes. You got a nice gap here. Nice gap right before earnings that were caused by earnings, and it started to fill it. 33.98. You're trading at 29 right now. RSI's at 64. Obviously, it's come up. It's got some interest. The algorithm makes you 65% versus buying and holding makes you 22%. So you can see right here how we've come down and we're starting to come back up. I know nothing about this company. I know that, it's a hold in the quant. We can look at the valuation of this. I just know that it moves. Revisions, D. Momentum, D. When you look at Wall Street, they say it's a buy. The average price target is $33. There's 19 analysts that cover this. Okay, the revisions, though, the ones that have covered this in the last 90 days, only one has brought up the earnings per share. 16 have brought it down. Nobody brought revenue up. 16 brings revenue down. So be careful. This is one that you want to trade. And maybe in that 4-hour algorithm where it has a buy today at $29, maybe this is one that you want to take a swing at. Average win, 12.9%. So it's interesting. Microsoft. Don't sleep on Microsoft. It has not traded well. Microsoft has not traded well, and it's expensive. But Microsoft expands AI tools for healthcare providers. This is important. This is going to be a big one, and you're going to hear more about this, okay? They are going to customize AI and your Microsoft Office tools by industry, by company. They will customize everything. It will lock in subscriptions, and it will make it difficult to get off those subscriptions. Because once you have AI looking at your data and you've signed a contract with Microsoft, it's not like you're going to go out on the next, 6 months and sign a deal with Oracle unless it's one of those large organizations and you're going to mix and match. But you can't mix and match on these cloud services. So what are they doing? They're sinking their teeth in. So don't sleep on Microsoft, okay? Microsoft right now is down 0.39. The valuation is crazy. Crazy. It's 31 times forward earnings. The PEG ratio, lower than some. The forward one is 2.38. The backward one, trailing 12 months, 1.67. So it is a little bit of a valuation. Now, the growth, fantastic. 15% year over year revenue growth. Levered free cash flow growing at 19%. The sector's growing at 22%. So it's not as good. You may have other opportunities. Profitability unbeaten. 69% gross profit margin. 69%. The momentum, like I said, short term, it hasn't been trading well. It's been trading horribly. And the revisions, there are 11 that brought earnings per share up, 32 bring them down. If we go over to the ratings and we look at Wall Street says it's a strong buy. Average price target, $501, 20% upside. 20% upside. The quant has had it as a strong buy ever since, $430, and you're trading at $415. Again, remember, the quant just does it on a 1 to 5 scale. It's changed from a hold at 428 to a strong buy at 430, and it's gone down since. Now, you can say that, I don't want to trade on the quant. Well, trade it on the algorithm. The algorithm here makes you 67% versus the buy and hold 69%. So it's no different. And say you're just nervous about it going down. Well, trade it on the algorithm. The algorithm wins 57% of the time. It's not bad. Average win 6%. And it got you in today at 415. So again, this is how you use the tools. Now, analysts maintain rating on Netflix as Q3 earnings near anticipate planned price hikes. If they get price hikes, this will boost the stock. Okay, the valuation on this one, absolutely nuts, crazy. 45 times trailing 12 months, 38 times forward earnings. The PEG ratio, 1.38 going forward. That's a super low PEG ratio. So when you go and look at growth, they're growing 13% year over year revenue. Profitability, 43% gross profit margin. The levered free cash flow margin is 55%. That's huge. Momentum, strongest thing in the market. A. Revisions, A. Wall Street, average price target, 708. If you can get this under $700, get it under $700. But because if they do announce a price hike, that's going to be huge. Now, we talked about HIMS because some of you guys like to trade HIMS. Eli Lilly threatens legal action against copycat Zep-bound providers. This is how they're going to protect GLP-1 because they have deep pockets. And don't put it past them to go after HIMS, to go after somebody and put an immediate cease and desist on those compounded drugs. That will kill the other stocks, and it will boost Lilly. Again, they have a moat. That you stub your toe, you're going to get a GLP-1 drug. You're going to get Zep-bound. You get a paper cut, you're going to get Zep-bound. Oh, you have migraines? Zep-bound. Oh, high cholesterol? Zep-bound. Oh, you have heart disease? Zep-bound. It's going to be everywhere. So Eli Lilly, I don't think it's overvalued. Right now, the valuation is an F. You are going to pay for this. 58 times forward earnings. But the growth, the PEG ratio going forward, 1.37. Because the growth is so explosive. And that's where they're going to make their money. That's where the value of the stock comes in. I continue to say anything under 900 is a good buy. Wall Street's average price target, 998. That's a 9.2% upside. I like this one. Amazon says Prime Day deal day was the biggest October shopping event till date. They haven't had a shopping event in October, so it's a bit of marketing speak. But I love Amazon. They're afraid that the retail portion of Amazon is going to show up weak based on Walmart taking away some of their business. I agree. But are you getting rid of your Prime? I'm watching NFL Prime on the NFL. There's some decent shows on there, and they're getting advertising revenue. The valuation is nuts. 39 times forward earnings. That's crazy. But their PEG ratio, trailing 12 months, 0.19. Forward, 1.88. And you might be saying, yeah, but all their workers are going to quit because they're demanding them to go back into the office. Understand, that's a negotiation. That ain't, hey, you have to be back in the office. That is, hey, we can probably get AI to replace your $100,000 or $200,000 a year salary with your $50,000 a year health care that we pay. We can probably do that and just save that money. And we're going to move that to AI. Because if you're in the office, you're not an operational frontline worker. You are somebody that AI can probably replace. And the one company that is probably going to do that is Amazon. And you know what? If Newman from Jurassic Park wants to, not come into the office, if that's the key guy, I forget what his name was, but if that's the key guy, he doesn't have to come into the office. They like the office. They're using that as a negotiation tactic to try and trim the fat. That's what they're doing. Remember 2022 when Amazon needed to trim the fat because they overhired during the pandemic? Now they're doing it with office workers. That's what they're doing. So I have no fear about this company. If you look at Wall Street, it's their average price target $220. That's 17% upside. But when you get to 200, remember, when you get to 200, Bezos is still going to sell $3 to $4 billion worth of this stock. It's going to be a wait. And the resistance level that hasn't been able to hold is 188. So I would say that's where you want to buy it. Yesterday, the algorithm got you in 187. Do you want to buy it for long term? I think you're fine. Short term, you might have some headwinds. So can you get it lower? Probably. But again, are you going to remember with your full-time job? That green line that you see is a long-term trend line. If we go and look at the weekly, if you pull it back to the January 2023 lows, again, that's the January, because this one didn't really pop on the October 2022 like every other stock. It continued down until January. The January lows, and you move that trend line. We've broken that trend. But I believe that we get back to that trend, and that trend is up at that 220 level. But we've got some resistance levels into there. Now, earnings season started. You can check out Earnings Hub. JP Morgan beat. Net interest income raised. They're up 3.5%. We talked about XLF. You know what else beat? Wells Fargo. That net interest income, headwinds. So the fees helped offset the net interest income, up 5.28%. 5.28%. Again, $60 stock. I own this one. I said Wells Fargo was going to be a $60 stock, and I said that at 55. Today, $60 stock. So you're trading at $60.30. Let's see. $60.99. That resistance at $60.30. You could sell it today, but their earnings, the catalyst, it's up. It's up. You had a buy here at 54. You had a buy here at 58. The algorithm makes you 51.4%. You make 34.8% with just buy and hold. It's there. JP Morgan, I will not buy JP Morgan. I will own JP Morgan in an ETF. But I'd rather not while Jamie Dimon is CEO. He knew about Epstein. There's a reason the Epstein files haven't come out, and I think it's because of Jamie Dimon, to be honest with you. He knew about this stuff. So ethically, I'm just against it. But they beat, and they're up 3.5%, 3.89. Okay, the algorithm makes you 74% in 24 months on this name. Buy and hold makes you 93%. This is one of the biggest winners in the financial industry. And it's just because the big banks keep getting bigger. I always say it, big gets bigger. Okay, so you've got two banks that beat. Bank of America, they didn't report. They report next week, but they're up because the banks are doing well. 3.5%. Bank of America, I said, buy it under 40. You're at 41. It's up 3.5% today. The algorithm got you in at $40.06. The algorithm on this makes you 63.2% over 24 months. If you bought and held, you're up 26.4%. Okay? There's a reason. Look, you get out with a nice 4% gain. You get out at 42. You buy back at 38. That's what the algorithm gets you. and say you want to trade. Well, here, Goldman gives you the potential options range ahead of earnings. So, for instance, Gap, implied move of 7.6%. Okay, Permian Resources, implied move 8.4%. Let's see, Broadcom, implied move of 5.4%. Toast, implied move of 12.7%. Downside, they're saying Kraft Heinz, implied move of 4.1. Cheniere Energy, implied move of 4.7. Choice Hotels, implied move of 5.3. So they outline it in this article. It's a good article. I don't know how to read that. So any article like this that's telling me, hey, here's what the options market's saying, I want to read. So let's talk about scans, okay? First off, Qualcomm. We talked about chips, and we talked about how NVIDIA's. Qualcomm is in the core portfolio. The reason it's in the core portfolio, it doesn't necessarily compete with NVIDIA, but Qualcomm's down 0.93, gets you in at 167. We talked about it yesterday, how this is capitulating here. It's a little bit of, nervousness around October 30th. Remember, they still have a Qualcomm chip in the iPhone because Apple hasn't been able to figure out the mobile handset chip. So Qualcomm's still in there. Qualcomm is still the chip that Volkswagen and other automakers use for autonomous driving. Yes, they're using NVIDIA in the cloud, but they're using Qualcomm chips in the car. So there's still a heavy, heavy demand for Qualcomm chips. It's not just out there kind of fluttering. It is its own company. And the valuation of Qualcomm versus NVIDIA, NVIDIA still, in my mind, is the chip to buy. It is still the chip to buy. But when you look at this one, Wall Street says it's a $215 price target on Qualcomm. And it's not minor. There's 37 analysts that cover this in the last 90 days. And 37 analysts, 27 brings earnings per share up, 4 down. 28 bring revenue up, 3 down. That's a pretty good valuation right there. Now, the quant says it's at a hold, but it's been a hold all the way since 105. And it's at 170 today. So take it with a grain of salt. Again, the quant rating, you do your own research. We have an entry in the algorithm at 167. Microsoft, we talked about Microsoft, how you just want to get into Microsoft because they will win part of the AI war. Microsoft here, I got to reset Trendspider right here. It's lagging a little bit because I think it doesn't like that I'm on OBS as well. Let's do the 4-hour, and we're on Qualcomm. Let's run Microsoft. Microsoft right here, 415. You're trading at 413. Again, it's been within this range of 402 and 430. So when you get at 415, you're right in the middle. You're right in the middle. The MACD's down below. Their earnings are coming up October 30th. Amazon, we talked about Amazon having an entry. Amazon's entry right here at 187. Sunoco in the energy field. Sunoco has an entry. This one has been beaten down 53.70. You can take a look at a weekly on this one. This one's come down to more realistic levels below that 50-day, and every time it's been below that 50-day, it's been a buy. Again, you have to assume that oil's going to go up. We have Frog, we have Path, we have Merck, we have Travelers, Cisco, ASML, Old Dominion Freight, Union Pacific. We have leveraged ETFs of SMST, which is SMCI, I believe, SVIXY, because the VIX was up over 20. So SVIXY, which is the inverse bull, 3 times levered against the thing, has an entry at 47.45. You're trading at 47.50. So it's right up there. Again, the algorithm on this one, the average win is 9.57. You win 43% of the time. So it's kind of like a coin flip. A coin flip that you might win 10% on. Okay? That's what the SVXY. Now, XLP is the only sector that got a cross up. XLP is your consumer staples. And if you want to see why you should invest in this one, on this pullback, okay, XLP might be one of those that on a 5% pullback, you might want to invest in. And so when you look at this one, we've got a 3.4% pullback. Okay, but the algorithm makes you 15%. Buying and holding makes you 18%. Your average win is 3.18. Just saved you from again, your average loss, it saved you 2%. Buy in at that one. XLP, when you go and look at the holdings in XLP, it's Costco, It's Target. It's Procter & Gamble. It's Walmart. It's Pepsi. It's Colgate. Mondelez. So, and then some of the smokers like Philip Morris, Altria. Yeah. XLP. This one, if we look at it from here, 52-week range between 55 and 84. You don't have a Wall Street coming out with a target, but their expenses A, dividends A, liquidity A, risk C minus, momentum C plus. The reason it's a momentum is a C plus, 1 month return minus 2.8, and then 1 month performance minus 2.8. Total return includes the dividend. So price return against the S&P, you can see how it performed against the S&P. It has underperformed the S&P over 1 year. Over 5 years, it's underperformed the S&P. Over 10 years, it's underperformed. I'm not a huge fan of this one, even though Costco is the number one. Just buy Costco. But when you see something like this and you see Costco under $900, I think you could buy Costco, to be honest with you. So, and VTV, which is the low-cost ETF from Vanguard, and this is value. And so when you look at this one, 171 was the entrance here. You make 32% on the algorithm over 24 months, 23 positions, once per month. But it's got another leg up is what it's saying. See how the MACD resets itself and the RSI kind of just plays in that middle ground between 50 and 70? Yeah, value. If you want to see what's in this one, we can go to VTV. And we can go to the holdings on this one. And we can look at it. Top one, Broadcom. Second, Berkshire Hathaway, JP Morgan, United Health, Exxon, Procter & Gamble. This is a great ETF. It's got 345 names in it. So it is way, way diverse. But it's interesting. You know, when you look at this, Seeking Alpha analysts say it's a buy. Quant says it's a buy. VTV. So you had a cross up in that one as well. If you have any questions, again, the tools that I use are all here on Linktree, linktr.ee. The first one's Trendspider. We talked about that one. You saw the algorithm and the watch list and how I scan for things. The second one is a bundle, okay? And this is the savings that I think you really, really should get because it's Seeking Alpha Premium and Alpha Picks, okay? You get it for over $150 savings. Over $150 is what you save, and you get a full year of both Alpha Picks, which is a portfolio of 2 stocks per month, once on the 1st, once on the 15th. You can see the performance, 145% versus the S&P up 51% during the same time period. Okay, and it's not like they're going back, 7, 8 years. July 1st, 2022. So it's just the current bull market that you're seeing. And that includes the pullback from July to October of 2022, which was a very large pullback. It includes the large pullback that you've seen this year and the large pullback that you saw in the summer last year. They are outperforming the S&P. Again, it's 2 picks per month. The difference between this and other portfolios, they tell you when to sell. They tell you when to sell. You get a nice email. You get a constant, I think it's monthly portfolio update where they do a Zoom meeting with you. It is a great, great service. Again, if you're not used to fundamentals and you're not used to stock picking in that sense, this is a great tool for you. And the bundle not only gets you that, but it also gets you premium. And premium allows you to do your own research on stocks that are even outside of Alpha Picks. When you get Alpha Picks, you're limited to just that portfolio. When you get premium, you can do whatever you want. Okay, and on premium, you could go over here and look at the top stocks. What's the top stock in the quant right now? It's PSIX, and it has been the top stock for a very long time. And there are quite a few people that have emailed me that they got into this one in the 4s and 5s. It's trading at $20. Okay, there's only one analyst that covers this, and his price target has been $22. The quant has been a strong buy all the way since $4.20. It's almost a perfect score at 4.99. Okay, this is the number one stock, and it hasn't changed. It's been 4.99 for quite a bit, ever since 8/12. 8/12, it went down to a hold, but if you just assume that one wasn't the norm, then you go back to May 14th where it went to 4.91. Okay, and it's floundered there. But May 14th, when it was trading at $4.20, and it's now trading at 2020. That's the power of the premium. And if you want just premium, you get $30 off. Okay, if you want just alpha picks, you get $50 off. All the links are here on Linktree. And the third one, if you don't have any charting program or if you don't have technicals, I would urge you to at least get Webull. Their mobile app has a great platform for charts. In fact, that's the chart. When I need to go and look at a chart on a stock, that's the chart I go to. I don't go to Fidelity. I may trade it in Fidelity, but I go to Webull to actually look at that. I have $1,000 that I put into Webull. I will look at it right now. I think it's close to 9,000. Let's see. Need Face ID. It is at $8,990. So Webull, I put $1,000 in there. It is mostly IBIT. It is mostly NVIDIA. It has some MicroStrategy. I have some Apple in there. I have some Tesla in there. I have some Berkshire. I have one share of Berkshire that I bought in there. So yeah, I have some Spotfiy that I bought in there. So there's some other things. But again, if you want a charting program that's just on your phone, it's not the best. Trendspider is by far, on a desktop, by far the better way of doing things. Or Thinkorswim, or you can get the Webull desktop software when you sign up. They have a good desktop software for charting. Just make sure you have charts. So if you have any questions, hit me up. I'm up there. Okay. Take care. Say bye. Okay. My tech line. Remuxing. I don't think it's remuxing that takes the time, Chris. It's the remuxed file. And I think I just fixed it because I'm testing out. So when I go into, here, I'll show you. Well, I can't show you. Nah, I won't show you. But when I go into OBS and there's a setting and I look at output, let's see. Is it on output? Yes, it's on output. And there's a recording format. They have a beta of a hybrid MP4. But when I use a fragmented MP4, what happens is the actual OBS software remuxes to an MP4, and it's what's called a remuxed MP4. And so when I throw it into iMovie, that remuxed file, for some reason, iMovie needs to analyze the actual audio, and it takes 8 hours, 7 hours sometimes, because it's an hour-long file. So, but I think this hybrid format that I changed to, I think that's going to work. Yeah, and that's exactly it, Chris. I can play the strategies all you want, but because it's 24/7, I'm with you. Just buy it. And I think you were the one that I got 60,000 from. So thank you. And yes, Troy, exactly. That's why I won't open up. That's why I have IBIT and MicroStrategy. So I can go to MKV. The problem with MKV is iMovie doesn't like MKV, and I have to do some additional steps to get it out. And I could use MKV in Final Cut Pro, but I don't have my file set up in Final Cut Pro. And iMovie is just easier. And it actually, it would look, the actual output looks better when I do it in Final Cut Pro, but there's just additional steps. And remember, I'm doing this, I start at like 5, 6 in the morning, and I'm going till about noontime. So, yeah, you're way above my tech support. Chris, I'm going to give my parents your line so that the next phone call that you will get will be, we want to use the computer in the car. Can you explain to us how to set up a hotspot? But let's see. I'm going to put it into iMovie now. Let's try this. Let's try this mofo out because I have the MP4 file right here. And you can usually tell right when it starts if we figured this out. And I think it's going to, yeah, okay. I can usually tell. Right now, I can usually tell that, yeah, we're good. This is what I was using before. And so the beta of this one is better. Okay. Going to take that out. I'm going to put that in. Okay, we're going to do... Okay. We'll put that in. Yep. I think we're good. Let me just put these in and then I'll check. I'm going to recolor it a little bit. Let's look at that because I want to make it blacker. There we go. Yep. Okay. Let's see. Analyzing audio. If I go to export and I do 1011 pod, that's the amount of editing that I do on this. And I can usually tell. Yeah, okay. Analyzing the audio goes immediately down to 13 minutes and exporting takes 30 minutes. Now it's shrinking down to 27, 26, 25. So it'll take about 15 minutes to export. And which is significantly better than like the 2.5 hours that I was getting the past couple of days. So the podcast will come out on time today, which is good. I should be up. Well, Apple's down. Bank of America up 4%. Freaking. Oh, look at that. Wow. Wow. IBIT's up 3.5%. Bitcoin's flying. That's what was my Webull account is now over $9,000. It moves that. That's how much. I mean, of that $9,000, I think like $4,000 or $5,000 IBIT. So, but my main account is down 0.15%. So, and it's Apple. I mean, that's just run by Apple. Let's see. I am down. Yep. Apple's down 0.45%. So, but I'm sure my MicroStrategy and MicroStrategy is up 7% today. Should have gotten my parents in yesterday. I was trying to, but oh well. That's funny. Substack. Oh. My mom sends me an email. I guess it emailed out last night that I was live. So, oh well. Okay. Let me see your comments. I don't think there's anything else that I got to do. What's interesting is there's just as many people in here as last night on the okay, the iMovie is being held up. We'll see how long that takes. I think this is the right one that it does. But let's see. 1923. Processing. I don't know what takes so freaking long. Yeah, now it's going up again. But it's about a quarter of the way through. So it's better than before. It just might be, I don't know, the audio settings on freaking OBS. I've been to every OBS forum and looking at the settings, and I just can't find. I think that's exactly what it is. But there is nothing that I've done to my Mac. My MacBook Pro is just stock. And so there's no additional software that I've installed on this thing, nothing. So I don't think that there's anything in particular. I'm looking, what, iPhone mirroring. I mean, I don't have any damn, I put CapCut on here. But I don't know. It's almost like I just need to, it's just, let's see. Yeah, it's moving down. That sounds familiar. Let me see, I'll tell you. Audio. It's set to 48 kilohertz stereo. And audio bitrate 28. AAC default audio encoder. Audio encoder is AAC. So I should probably get on a tech support Zoom call with you. But I think you're maybe I'll change that audio setting from AAC to a different one. They don't have a different one. I know that the audio bit rate, when it was at 32 or 64, I forget which one, that caused significant delays too. But see, the problem was, so I had it down and it was good because I did a bunch of testing. Then Substack said, hey, we want you to go live, so let's get on a call with our OBS expert. And the dude said, yeah, just set it to standard. And so I had to change all the settings. And when I changed back to YouTube standard, that's where I got into the problem. And I don't remember which settings I changed. So I just have to change it back at some point in time. Okay. Okay. I am out of here. You guys have a good weekend. It's 10 o'clock. Yeah, it's definitely the audio, because when I go into iMovie, literally it says exporting takes 27 minutes, but analyzing audio takes 25 minutes. And so that's where the problem is, the audio. I know it's the audio. And so when I downgrade and if I downgrade the audio too much to sample rate, I have 48 kilohertz. Decay rate, fast, advanced monitoring device, but none of that stuff's checked. It's the output, and the encoder preset is super fast. I probably should. Yes, I don't have the ability to redo stuff. Yeah, and that's the problem. I'm at 2,000 kilobits per second on that one. The audio bit rate is 28. So it should be okay at 28. It's not the best, but it's also not the worst. But maybe I'll try upping the bit rate because maybe iMovie doesn't like it that low and it's trying to up it, and that's why it's processing the audio. But I can see it right now. It's still slow. Yeah, I gotta redo some stuff. And there's nothing I can do about today's kind of recording. It's just the stuff. Okay, I'm out. You guys have a good weekend. I will see you Monday. See you. Bye.
Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Listen now. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears. Tune in daily, don't miss a single show. Sign up for the newsletter, let us help you grow. Taking risks, making moves, seeking success. Together we'll conquer, no room for any less. Every morning I wake up to the sound of the trading bell. My heart starts to pound. Daily stock pick trading podcast in my ears, guiding me through my hopes and fears.